Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello. Is this thing working? Yes, it is. What?
No music tonight. We begin on page 5 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bochem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Please rise for the candle blessings on page 4. Excuse us, we don't have the real cantor tonight, so therefore we're going to start again because I have no idea where I'm supposed to start. Let's start this one again. Oh, we have to start with la 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 la, right? Yes, that part. That's it. Okay, got it. I'm not fluent in Hebrew, so. La 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 la. This is right. La 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 la. La 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 la. Now the Baruch. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Please be seated, page 11. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, nikad ma'afanav b'todah. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu, bizmirat naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Ranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Page 16 for Or Zarua. Just a note of welcome, and also just a note to tell you something about the etiquette in the sanctuary or the chapel. If your phone goes off during services, we will assume that you are getting a call from God. Because who else would be calling you when you're in the chapel? And we will stop the service immediately until your call is finished. If God wants to speak to me, please tell them it's Shabbat, and I don't take messages on Shabbat. God can call me afterwards. But we'll continue on page 20 with Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kadsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kadsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kadsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kadsho. Please rise, page 21. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai bnei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'od, havu l'Adonai kevod shemo ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al-hamayim el hakavod hirim. Adonai al-mayim rabim, kol Adonai bak koach, kol Adonai v'hadar, kol Adonai shover arazim, v'yishaber Adonai et arzei halbanon, v'yarkidem kemo egel Levanon, v'siryon kemo then re'emim. Kol Adonai chotzev lahavot esh, kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, kol Adonai yichol el hayalot, vayechesov ye'arot ubheichalo, kulo omer kavod. Adonai lama bu yashav vayeshev Adonai melech leolam. Adonai oz le'amo yiten. Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Please be seated. Lecha Dodi, page 23, the first two and the last two verses. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם אסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תריצי על יד איש בן פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Page 27. מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבל עלי היגיון בכינור מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון כי שימה מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון כי שחתני אדוני בפעלך במעשה ידך ארנן מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך מזמור שיר elyon. Lizamer lishimcha elyon. Ulizamer lishimcha elyon. Page 28. Tzadikatama Yifra Ke'erez Balvanon Yizkeh Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvun Beseva Deshenim Verananim Yiu Lehagi Ki Ashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avlatabo. Will all those who wish please rise and recite Mourner's Kaddish with me on page 30. Page 30. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'olma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam le'omei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shmei dekudsha b'riachu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran b'ilma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Aseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. So I know this is going to come as a surprise, especially for those of you who don't know me, but I have made mistakes. I know that most people think rabbis are infallible, and most of us think we are. Only when young? Nah, it pervades everything. But I've made some mistakes, and one of the good things about my mistakes, or one of the most interesting thing about my mistakes, at least to me, is that when I make a mistake, it's a doozy. I mean, I don't just make small mistakes, I make big mistakes, and you should have seen the one that got away. So, especially when you're a rabbi in a congregation, when you make a mistake, boy, it is, believe me, it is. So, since you asked, I'm going to share with you one of the biggest mistakes I ever made.
What was the biggest mistake you made?
I'm glad you asked. I'm not telling you. So, in my town up north, we had a situation many years ago that literally divided the township. We lost several town council people, we lost several businesses, and it was about an issue that may not seem like very much now, but it was a very big thing at that time, and it was the placing of a creche on public property. Okay. So, depending on how you look at the Constitution, or you don't look at the Constitution, if you even know what the Constitution might be, there's definitely more than one opinion on this, but in our township, it divided us completely. And there were those who said it was okay, and there were those who said it wasn't okay. I was a fairly new rabbi at that point, young, And the local Episcopalian bishop and I decided that we would have a town meeting. And we would air different points of view, because he was in favor of having the creche on public property and I was not. Big mistake. If you ever find yourself with an Episcopalian bishop, don't do what he suggests. So we had this meeting, and he and I were good friends at that time, still are, but he came to me and he said, I have a bet to make. And I said, what? And also understand he was 6'2" and 250 pounds at least. So next to me, I would do anything he said, because who knew? He said, I want to bet to you that within the third Jewish speaker, the Holocaust is going to come up. And I said, no way. And he said, yes, it is. He said, and then what's going to happen is we are going to lose all control of the meeting, because the white supremacists who are also in the meeting are going to have a field day with this. I said, no problem, because I knew I was going to win the bet. So at the very beginning, he and I both spoke, and he spoke, and he said whatever he was going to say. It wasn't very much, I didn't think. And then I got up and said, look, we are talking about a constitutional issue, which is a United States issue and the way in which we interpret the Constitution. We are not talking about the Holocaust. First Jewish speaker to get up. What about the Holocaust? I lost the bet. And the whole meeting devolved. It was horrible. And he and I looked at each other afterwards and we just said, okay, township is divided, it's going where it's going, and it did. And believe me, it made the New York Times, which when you're a small suburban congregation or area in New Jersey and you make the front page of the New York Times, you know you're in trouble. Now, the reason, I thought about this, because I don't know if you're aware that today is the yahrzeit of Charles Dickens. Ah, you didn't know. He's not on our list, by the way. Now, the reason, does anyone know why I would equate Charles Dickens with anti-Semitism? And that's the question. Was he an anti-Semite?
That's the claim, because of the word that he's used in some of the books that he's written.
Fagin. Okay? You know, I'm reviewing the situation. If you saw Oliver the movie or the show, you know that that's Fagin. Fagin, who's in charge of all the thieves, is clearly Jewish. And he's portrayed as Jewish. And Dickens wrote him as a Jewish character. And he received a tremendous amount of criticism from the Jewish community for being anti-Semitic. And Dickens took it personally, and he actually wrote a defense of Fagin, and he also wrote a story much later on in which the hero, or the most sympathetic character, was also a Jew. So the question then is, was Dickens anti-Semitic? His claim was that he was not anti-Semitic because all he did was portray a character that actually was based on fact. And so his claim was, if I'm writing with verisimilitude and I'm trying to be honest, this character that I'm writing about was Jewish. I didn't have him going to shul on Yom Kippur. He didn't say that. But he didn't have Fagin doing any outwardly obvious Jewish things, but it was clear that he was Jewish. And the issue with Fagin and the issue with Dickens is we as a Jewish community are very, very sensitive, clearly, and we should be, to anti-Semitism. And there is a lot of anti-Semitism in the world. I would also caution you to say that as much anti-Semitism as there is, we enjoy a status as a community that we have never had before in the United States. Do you realize that in the last in 2016, in that presidential election, no matter who won, there was going to be a Seder in the White House? Think about that. So the question then becomes, what constitutes anti-Semitism and what doesn't? And it's a very important question, because when the Jewish community has a knee-jerk reaction to something and automatically goes into anti-Semitism, and it's not, we lose credibility. Just as the person who started claiming about the Holocaust lost credibility for the rest of the Jewish community. We couldn't say anything after that because he had muddied the waters. We are in a very divisive time right now, and it is a time in which there are acts that we interpret as anti-Semitism but that are not anti-Semitism. There was, in our community, we had several different congregations. I can't imagine why the Jews were united, not. And we had two Chabads. And one of the Chabads was my best friend, and the other was his worst enemy. And during Yom Kippur, because there were lots of violations of the building code by one of the Chabads, during the high holidays, the fire marshal went in to inspect one of the Chabads, and he condemned the building. Immediately, the answer was, it's anti-Semitic. And they threw the Holocaust up again. Now, I had been in the community by that time for many, many years, so I was kind of like the elder statesman. And I contacted the leadership of that congregation, and I actually had to write a letter to the local paper when we had local papers back then. And I wrote a letter, and I said, it would be very hard to accuse the township of being anti-Semitic. We have 5 township committee members, 3 of whom are Jewish. The mayor is Jewish. The fire marshal is Jewish. We,
the town, are we?
what?
Taking over the town, are we?
Oh no, we took it over.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't Flemington, was it?
No, it wasn't, although I was offered the job at Flemington when I got out of seminary and I refused it. Do you know why I refused it? I'm glad you asked.
Why did you refuse it?
I'm glad you asked. The carpeting and the shul. I'm serious. The carpeting was horrible. I could not pray in a place with that type of carpeting. But I digress. Now, the point being that all of a sudden it became anti-Semitic, and I also pointed out that we, as a congregation, invited the fire marshal in during the high holidays to see whether we were up to code, because the last thing you want is a fire. So you have to be very careful and discerning before you start throwing up the flag of anti-Semitism. But I would say to you that once that flag is thrown, you have to do everything in your power to combat it. This is not something we can be passive about, but we have to be accurate.
Ron Moody, the actor who played Fagin in the movie, is Jewish.
Yes. And he was typecast because of that. Questions or comments? Yes.
When we look at anti-Semitism, we really have to look at a person's total life record.
Yes.
You can't just take one incident
That's right.
and just start throwing mud at them. We have to look at a person's full life record of how they've lived their life, what they've said, what
That's
they've
right.
done, etc.
Although being Jewish, maybe I have another opinion.
And being a rabbi, you're both wrong and I'm right, but that's okay. So there is, in our township, there, as I pointed out to the rabbis, there is a difference between being anti-Semitic and being stupid. Often, what we consider to be anti-Semitism is just stupidity. We had a food distribution here several weeks ago. The Muslim community and the Jewish community got together and we were doing food distribution. And the volunteers from the food bank were so thrilled because HEB had donated thousands of pounds of pork ribs. Everyone, the people who were here were all nodding. It's like, and I said to the volunteer, Jews and Muslims, pork ribs? Oh yeah, right away. As soon as she got it, as soon as we said it, she said, "Oh my God, we're so embarrassed." And the Muslim leader and I, we just burst out laughing because it was ignorance. It wasn't anything more than that. But under other conditions, someone would have thrown out and said, "Holocaust." And the sad fact is that that's true. Someone would have said that. But no one did because it was funny. Yes, Debbie. They sent them back to the food bank. The truck was a refrigerator truck. They kept them refrigerated until Monday, and they gave them out on Monday morning when people came up for there. So, and they really tasted good. I wouldn't know. It did. We'll continue with Baruch Hu on page 39a. Please rise. Please be seated, page 40. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael amcha havta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu Veinu uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayeinu v'yorech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla ki hem chayeinu v'yorech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla ki hem chayeinu v'yorech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla ki hem chayeinu v'yorech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla Al tasir mimenu leolamim Baruch ata Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. Page 44. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, חוקי הים לפני משה. זה אלי, זה אלי, ענו ויאמרו. מלכותך ראו בניך, חוקי הים לפני משה. זה אלי, זה אלי, ענו ויאמרו. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך נעים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא, עושה פלא, עושה פלא. We read together on page 45. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, and spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Vehamidenu Malkeinu lechayim Venu Adonai lechayim. Please rise, page 46. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אות היא לעולם, אות היא לעולם, אות היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבם, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מבורך לעולם לעולמי עולמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי דקודשה ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו Amen. The silent Amidah begins on page 47 and continues through page 51. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. 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 Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol eit u'b'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. The Mishaberach prayer for those who are ill is found on page 173. So as I lead in the Mishaberach prayer, please direct your hearts to those people who are in need of healing, both spiritual, physical, and emotional. Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikor habracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Please rise, page 54. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad divrach hirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivorach, le'olam le'omei homaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vitpa'ar, Vitromam, Vitnaseh, Vitadar, Vitalev, Vitalal, Shemei Dekudesha, Richu, Le'ela, Min Kol, Birchata, Vishirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Damiran, Bialma, V'imeru, Amen. Titkabel, Tzloton, Uvoton, Dechol Yisrael, Kadam Avuhon Di Bishmaya V'imeru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. V'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. We continue with the Aleinu on page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'teis gedula le'oseh breshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot ve'lo samanu shemishpechot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem ve'goraleinu kechol ha'onam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim v'yosei haaretz u'moshav yikaro hashamayim mima'al u'shminatuzo b'gov hei me'elohim u'eloheinu eino emet malkeinu efes ulato kakatuv b'torato v'yadata hayom hashemota ki Adonai hu ha'elohim ha'shamayim mima'al v'al ha'aretz mitachta eino. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad. Shemo u'shemo echad. U'shemo echad. This week, we remember the Yortzites of David Anderson, Martha Bardos, Daniel Berg, David Berkowitz, Vida Brenman, Frank Bresniak, Robin Brown, Lindsay Damaski, Sadie Friedman, Louis Sonny Friedman, Jean Gutson, Pearl Gosson, Etta Gross, Beatrice Kerman, Donald Kurtman, Leslie Coben, Alvin Lewis, Max Morris, Morton Nidishin, Pete Sergey, Jules Singer, Abe Solomon, Babetta Weinstein, Joseph Wise, Cornelia Wise, Bonnie Wiederman, and Jack Williams, and we mourn with the families of the recently departed Charles Siegel, Abraham David Reback, and Jerry Cutler. Will all those who wish please rise and recite Mourner's Kaddish with me on page 58. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Yolma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchustei, v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, bagala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam lomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekutsha b'riachu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'olma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. As much as I hesitate to say this, announcements. Mazel tov, Zechariah, you're being called tomorrow to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. We should be glad. So should you. Book of Remembrance. Submission deadline is July 28th. We're accepting submissions during the Yizkor service. You will get the book. Don't wait for the movie. The hidden Jews of the Southwest are still hiding. But if you want to learn about them, Sunday, June 25th, from 2 to 4, and there is a mission to Israel in November. Israel's far away. You have to take a plane and not a train. See me for more details. Weekday minyan at 7:30 a.m. and Sundays at 9 a.m. Those are all the upcoming events I'm going to talk about. And we'll conclude with Kiddush. Please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu v'shabbat kadsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu bacharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kadshecha b'ahava uvratzon hin'altanu baruch atah Adonai nekadesh ha-shabbat. And we'll say Motzi together.
Motzi together.
Motzi together.
Just say what I say.
Say what I say.
Been there.
Baruch atah
cheesecake out in the rotunda? There's cheesecake out in the rotunda.
Cheesecake.
Yeah.
But that's what y'all refer to now. It's not like, because like Christianity, which I'm not, but my family is, they say it's like a sermon. Sermon or a sermon. I was just wondering if y'all had like a different name for it.
I want some more.
They gave me the whole thing and then they come out, oh, just another piece, just another piece. They didn't take it pieces.
I thought you had to get up and talk tonight. I thought you was one thing to do.
streets